My stepdaughter called me dad at her birthday, and my wife lost it, so I packed my bags. My wife's first husband died when their daughter was a baby, and I met them when she was 3. She's 13 now. We've been together 10 years, married for 6, and I've always felt like I'm living in his shadow. My wife visits his grave every day after work. Rain or snow, she still goes. On weekends, she takes our daughter there too. I never tried to stop it, but it slowly took over our life. If there was extra time, it went to the cemetery, not to us. She missed school events, dance practice, even simple stuff like dinner on time, because she had to check in with him. Our daughter learned not to ask anymore. I work from home as an online tutor, so I'm the one who's here for the kid. I make breakfast, help with homework, and drive her to dance 4 times a week. We built Gundam models at the kitchen table, pieces all over the place. We read Percy Jackson books and argued about the characters. When she got nervous before auditions, I waited outside the studio and texted her, "You've got this, kiddo." She'd run out after class and tell me every detail. My wife almost never came. She'd promise, then say she lost track of time at the grave. The worst part is my wife didn't just grieve, she guarded the title of dad like a weapon. When our daughter was little, my wife told her she could only call me by my first name. Not dad, not stepdad, not anything close. I went along with it because I didn't want to hurt the kid or start a fight. Still, after 10 years of packing lunches and showing up, it started to feel unfair. This past week was my stepdaughter's birthday. She's obsessed with the Percy Jackson universe, and she kept talking about a special Heroes of Olympus box set that's hard to find. I spent weeks hunting it down, checking photos, messaging sellers, making sure it wasn't fake. When it finally arrived, I hid it in my office. On her birthday, I made pancakes, wrapped the box, and watched her tear into it. The second she saw it, she screamed and hugged me so hard my ribs hurt. Then she said, "Thank you so much, Dad. It came out so natural, like she'd been holding it in for years." I didn't correct her. I just smiled because what else am I to her? She ran upstairs to read, and the moment the door shut, my wife snapped. Her whole face changed. "You're not her dad," she said, like it was a threat. "How dare you let her call you that?" I told her I didn't tell her to say it. She chose the word. My wife stepped closer and said, "You don't have any children. She's mine, and she's his, not yours." I said, "I've been raising her. I'm the one who's here." My wife cut me off. "Don't act proud because you helped with homework and built toys." Then she said something I still can't get out of my head. "If my husband was alive, I'd divorce you in an instant and go back to him. In an instant." I stood there waiting for her to soften, but she doubled down. "No matter what you do, you are not and will never be her father." That night she moved into the guest room. The next 2 days were miserable. She barely spoke to me, and our daughter kept hovering in doorways like she was listening for an explosion. On the 3rd night, I went to the kids' room because I could see her light under the door. She was in bed reading, trying to pretend she wasn't crying. She whispered, "Is this my fault?" I sat down and said no, never. I told her she didn't do anything wrong by loving the people who show up for her. I told her grown-up fights aren't her job. She nodded, but then she said, "Mom told me a long time ago I'm not allowed to call you that, and I did it anyway." I could hear how scared she was. When I went downstairs, I heard my wife on the phone. She was pacing, voice sharp, saying, "He can't leave. She needs him here." She didn't say she loved me. She didn't say she missed me. It was all about what she needed from me. The next morning, my wife walked into the kitchen, saw me making breakfast, and said, "You need to apologize for crossing a line. Not to me, but to her father." That was it for me. I went to my office, called a lawyer, and booked the first appointment I could get. While our daughter was at school, I packed my clothes and stacked boxes by the door. When my wife came home and saw them, she didn't ask why I was hurt. She said, "You can't do this. She needs you." I asked, "What about me?" She just stared at the floor. When our daughter got home and saw my suitcase, she went pale. She said my name like she was begging. I crouched down and told her I wasn't leaving because of her, and I wasn't punishing her for calling me dad. My wife stormed into the hallway and said, "Don't make this dramatic." I pulled an envelope from my bag, set it on the kitchen counter, and said, "These are the divorce papers." My wife grabbed it, flipped the first page, and her hands started shaking. I picked up my suitcase, opened the front door, and walked out. Now my family is saying I'm cruel for leaving after she called me dad, am I?